As airspeed is reduced, the flight controls become less effective, and the normal nose-down tendency is reduced. The elevators become less responsive, and course control movements become necessary to retain control of the airplane. Alright, the slipstream effect produces a strong yaw, so the application of rudder is required to maintain coordinated flight. The secondary effect of applied rudder is to induce a roll, so aileron is required to keep the wings level. This can result in flying with crossed controls. During these changing flight conditions, it is important to retrim the airplane as often as necessary to compensate for changes in control pressures. If the airplane has been trimmed for cruising speed, heavy aft control pressure will be needed on the elevators, making precise control impossible. If too much speed is lost or too little power is used, further back pressure on the elevator control may result in a loss of altitude or a stall. When the desired pitch attitude and minimum control airspeed have been established, it is important to continually cross-check the attitude indicator, altimeter, and airspeed indicator, as well as outside references to ensure the accurate control is being maintained. The pilot should understand that when flying more slowly than minimum drag speed, LD over max, the airplane will exhibit a characteristic known as speed instability. If the airplane is disturbed by even the slightest turbulence, the airspeed will decrease. As airspeed decreases, the total drag also increases, resulting in a further loss in airspeed. The total drag continues to rise and speed continues to fall. Unless more power is applied and/or the nose is lowered, the speed will continue to decay right down to the stall. This is an extremely important factor in the performance of slow flight. The pilot must understand that at speed less than minimum drag speed, the airspeed is unstable and will continue to decay if allowed to do so. When the attitude, airspeed, and power have been stabilized in straight flight, turns should be practiced to determine the airplane's controllability characteristic at this minimum speed. During the turns, power and pitch attitude may need to be increased to maintain the airspeed and altitude. The objective is to acquaint the pilot with the lack of maneuverability at minimum speeds, the danger of incipient stalls, and the tendency of the airplane to stall as the bank is increased. I didn't read that right. A stall may also occur as a result of abrupt or rough control movements when flying at this critical airspeed. Abruptly raising the flaps while at maintaining controllable airspeed will result in lift suddenly being lost, causing the airplane to lose altitude or perhaps stall. Once flight at minimum controllable airspeed is set up properly for level flight, a descent or climb at minimum control airspeed can be established by adjusting the power as necessary to establish the desired rate of climb, the desired rate of descent or climb. The beginning pilot should note the increased yawing tendency at minimum control airspeed at high power settings with flaps fully extended. In some airplanes, an attempt to climb at such slow airspeed may result in a loss of attitude even with maximum power applied. Common errors in the performance of slow flight are failure to adequately clear the area, inadequacy back elevator pressure as power is reduced resulting in altitude loss, excessive back elevator pressure as power is reduced resulting in a climb followed by a rapid reduction in airspeed and mushing, inadequate compensation for adverse yaw during turns, fixation on the airspeed indicator, failure to anticipate changes in lift as flaps are extended or retracted, inadequate power management, inability to adequately divide attention between airplane control and orientation.